Hello, welcome back to the Snoop My Diary podcast in 2026. I feel like I speak for everyone. Like, I'm not saying anything revolutionary here when I say 2026 sounds like a crazy year from the future, and I never thought we'd actually get here. And time is moving really fast, and it feels really weird, but I'm grateful to be here regardless. I feel like I've seen a lot of discourse, like people saying 2025 was a really rough year for them. Um, Sorry guys, 2025 was really good for me. Probably the best year of my life, dare I say. So, if you can't relate, I'm sorry, but I had a really good year. I started posting like consistently to YouTube. I brought my podcast back to life a little bit. Um, Social media stuff aside, I just had a really good year. I was more social this year. I was, hanging out with friends more. I traveled this year more than ever, both solo trips and trips with friends and loved ones. So that's always a bonus for me. I saw so much live music. I went to so many concerts this year of artists that I love and just like local shows as well. I just feel like I really put myself out there more in 2025. And yeah, I had a really good year. I'm not going to recap 2025 too much, at least not right now. Maybe I will towards the end some more. But I wanted to get into the entries today. And I'm going to be reading entries that I wrote on New Year's Eve / New Year's Day throughout various years of my life. As someone who journals pretty regularly, I know that when I take breaks from journaling, nothing will get me to come back quite like a new year. January 1st is always a good time for me to start a new journal. I don't think I am original in that. I think a lot of people take on journaling as their New Year's resolution. This new year, I don't really have to take on that resolution because I'm already very much in the habit of journaling regularly. But I used to not be. I've gone through phases. I'm going to be reading entries from New Year's 2016, 2017, 2018, and then I take a gap. Then I have like a break for several years where I don't journal regularly, and then we'll come back to New Year's 2025. Yeah, so like last year's New Year's. Does that make sense? Here is the first journal I'm reading from. This is a classic. This was my first journal that I filled like front to back, I think. And I also journaled every single day when I got started this journal. They weren't necessarily long entries every day, like some of them are just a paragraph, like a few sentences. But I journaled every day for a really long time. I'm looking at because I used to number like day 1, day 2, and I kept that going for, I'm looking at this journal in front of me, over 800 days. I did this consistently. And I don't know why I stopped. I think I stopped around the time I got into college, which is a bummer because I would love to read journal entries from when I was in college, but I do not have like hardly any, unfortunately. Lots from high school though. Lots of journal entries from middle school and high school, and now post grad, I guess. But in January 1st of 2016, I embarked on day 1 of what would turn into a long streak of me journaling every single day. And honestly, what gave me a lot of material for this podcast. So I'm very grateful to 2016 me for deciding to start this resolution. I guess I'll just read the entry so you can understand more of why I started journaling in the first place. So again, this is from January 1st, 2016. Hi, my name is Vanessa. This is my attempt at having the best year ever. I plan to document my life daily in this nifty journal. The goal is to write every day, and in doing so, inspire myself to do something worth writing about. Let the adventures begin. To be honest, I probably won't make it through January before I skip a day, but let's see what happens. I did occasionally miss a day of journaling, but I would always go back like the next day and write about it. So I always caught up. I never like fell behind, which again, for doing this for over 800 days in a row, Very impressive, would say. I think I'm gonna use my scene doll names for my friends, for my high school friends, because I think that's cute and fun. So today, Chelsea, Barbie, Madison, and I drove around because we're 16 and can do that sort of thing now. We went to Target and walked around a bit. We were gonna go to Cane's, but they were closed. Why do places even close on New Year's? Vanessa from the future, because people want to be with their families and have a day off. And when you work retail, you will understand that you will take any day off you can get, okay? Anyways, Barbie got Whole Foods and the rest of us got food at the mall. I got job applications to American Eagle and PacSun, so we'll see how that goes. Vanessa from the future, I did not hear back from either of those jobs. I feel like later looking back on this will be boring to read, but also it's strange how I probably wouldn't remember this unless I wrote it down. And it's true, I wouldn't remember these random little details unless I wrote them down. That is all for the first entry. That is all for January 1st, 2016. Yeah, basically, I wanted to start journaling so that I would be inspired to make my life more interesting because I would be writing about it every single day. So if I was doing the same stuff every day, I would get bored of that very quickly and hopefully, be inspired to do something new so I could write about something new. And I think this is interesting because it kind of aligns with the reason why I started making YouTube videos, why I started vlogging my life was basically to inspire me to make my life more interesting as well. And I feel like it worked. I feel like both of these worked. So if you are, kind of in a rut and just want a way to make your life more interesting and not even necessarily think about it too much, I feel like it's very subconscious, but like once you start writing about your life every day or recording your life and editing it consistently, you will figure out, how boring your life is. But it's interesting because the things that are so boring to you now will become interesting to you in the future when you look back on it. This is interesting again because this was before I had any sort of retail job, and just seeing like where my brain was at, like being freshly 16. It's so sweet. The little line saying I drove around with my friends because we're 16 and can do that sort of thing now. So precious, so cute. And you don't even realize like how precious those things are when you're writing them down or when you're vlogging about it. But it definitely did inspire me to make my life more interesting, and even more so now that I'm vlogging, because editing is like even more tedious, I feel like, than just writing down what you did that day. When you're like recording it and then editing it on top of that, like you're just watching the same footage over and over, you will find out very quickly what is repetitive in your life. Oh, ew, I just realized in this moment that 2016 was 10 years ago. This journal entry is over 10 years old. Oh my god. Like, huh? Ooh, something that fucked me up when I thought about it is how High School Musical came out 20 years ago. That in itself is mind blowing. But then I think, okay, 20 years ago in 2006, the 80s was 20 years ago from 2006. So, like, when I was a child watching High School Musical, thinking about the 80s, I was like, oh my god, that's old and ancient. That's how kids today feel thinking about High School Musical. They're like, oh my god, the old ancient 2000s, like this old movie High School Musical. Sorry, just had to throw that in there. I don't know. But 2016 felt so modern. I was like, how can we ever get more modern than this? This is like peak humanity, peak technology. I feel like a lot of humanity looks at 2016 with like rose-colored glasses. Like we just view that as like the last kind of really good year before things got weird. And I do kind of feel that. Like, what was in the air? I don't know. I was there. I was 16 in 2016. What a time to be alive. This next entry is from December 31st, 2016. So, New Year's Eve, heading into 2017. We went to church at 5:30. Then I picked up Chelsea to go to Miranda's. I don't know. We played with her pet bunny a lot. We also played some apples to apples and ping pong before counting down to the new year. Some sad news, you guys. Miranda's pet bunny is no longer with us. They have since passed on. So, That's a bummer. It was a very sweet bunny. I do remember this New Year's. This was a fun New Year's. I talk about it more in the next entry on January 1st, 2017. So let me read this one real quick. After midnight, we played water pong. My team won. Water pong, because we were children. We had a little deep talk and watched strange old television. I didn't sleep very well. I took Chelsea home, then I went home and slept some more. Then the fam came over for dinner. Lila is being vegan for New Year's, which is cool. We worked on an underwater puzzle for 9 years but didn't finish. Pretty lazy day, but I just know good things will happen this year. I know time isn't real, so really you can change your life whenever, blah blah blah. But for real, I just have a feeling that this year will be life-changing. We'll see. So, some resolutions, basic but necessary, just to be more positive and not take any bullshit from anyone. I'd also love to become nearly fluent in another language, and of course, continue to journal on the daily. I feel like, I do say this most years that, oh my god, this year is gonna be life changing. I feel it. I feel it that this is my year. Don't we all say that every year? It does make me a little sad reading that because I feel like 2017 actually ended up being kind of a rough year for me, like mentally, especially towards the tail end of 2017 is when my mental health like really acted up. Like I had a real tough phase. So it makes me a little sad to see how like hopeful I was at the beginning of the year because I just didn't really know what was in store for me. And that makes me a little nervous to say that, oh my god, I feel like 2026 is my year. But, can't a girl dream? Can't a girl hope for the best? I said it about 2025. I really was like, okay, I feel like 2025 is like kind of my recovery year. And 2026 is like really my year. Does that make sense? Like 2025, I was just loading, just getting ready. And 2026 is when it all happens for me. So maybe I'm wrong, but that's at least what I'm gonna envision for myself right now. When I said Lila is being vegan for New Year's, Lila is my now sister-in-law. If you don't know, I was vegan for like 5 years. And it was a big part of my identity for a while. And I honestly, gosh, I could make a whole topic on veganism, but I am not vegan anymore anyways, but it used to be a really big part of my identity, and I still do like really agree with the messaging behind it. Like I honestly do think it is probably like the most ethical way to consume things, at least, and I used to really try to kind of convert the people in my life to veganism, and I at least got several people in my life to go vegan for short periods of time, which is kind of cool, honestly, that I could have that effect on people. And I still do eat vegan like a lot of the time. I still love vegan food. I'm just not obviously vegan anymore, or like as deep in it as I was, where I was trying to convert everyone around me. But that's nice that my sister-in-law was gonna try it for a little bit. That's cool. And then my resolutions, be more positive and not take any bullshit from anyone. I'm like, who was giving me bullshit? Who am I referencing here? Like, become nearly fluent in another language? Never did that. Would love to do that. I should put that on my resolutions for this year. Or at least take like a language class. I don't have to become fluent, but like to try and learn a little bit, I think would be nice. And continue to journal. I did do that one. So at least we did one of those things. The next entry is from December 31st, 2017, New Year's Eve, heading into 2018. I went to Target to get Barbie's present. Then my brother, mom, and I went to church. I cleaned my room so it'd be all nice for the new year. Then I went to Barbie's. And then I just listed like the whole attendance list for the party, like a bunch of girlies' names that I'm not gonna list out right now because it's not too relevant for y'all. Hi, my camera died and then I had to go run some errands, but we're back. Back to where I left off on this entry. It was mainly Ashley, Raquel, Madison, and I hanging out because everyone else was very loud and energetic. We opened presents, played some games, snorted some hot chocolate, etc., etc. Watched BTS perform Mic Drop. Wow, I love them. Jenna had this portable speaker and she just played the most annoying fucking music. Like, wow, I couldn't handle it. Anyways, we counted down and such, then I went home because I have to work in the morning. LOL, ew. Now for a little reflection. So this year started off pretty good, then went pretty downhill. But despite my eating disorder and depression and all that mess, I feel hopeful for 2018. It's scary not knowing where I'll be this year, but I feel kind of okay. And I know wherever I end up will be great. I'm not 100% better, not even close, but I know I'm getting there. And I just have a gut feeling that everything will be okay. Better than okay. So, yeah, I mentioned how the end of the year was a little rough for me, and I had a lot of mental health challenges in 2017. It's kind of interesting, actually. I feel like I'm at a bit of a parallel in my life now to where I was like at the end of 2017 when I was a senior in high school. At the end of 2017, I had no idea yet what I was going to do after high school graduation. I had no clue what my college plans were or anything like that. And I feel like everyone around me kind of already had it figured out. And so that was a little scary to be going into, the year I graduate, not knowing what my plans were after. And here I wrote, it's scary not knowing where I'll be this year. But I know where I end up will be great. And that's kind of how I feel right now. I feel like I'm in a point in my life where I feel like things are like changing. Like I am craving a change in my life. Especially like I would love to move. I would love to move to a new location, but I just don't exactly know how that's going to happen or where I want to go or any details. I just know that I'm craving some change in my life and I want to do something new and something different this year. And I know that sounds like really vague, but I don't quite know yet. And so I feel kind of a connection with my 2017/18 New Year self. But the thing that's keeping me positive and like looking on the bright side of things and like feeling like things are going to evolve and change in a good way, because despite 2017 being very tumultuous, 2018 did end up being a really positive, beautiful year, despite me having no clue where it was headed when I entered it. 2018 was the year I got into my first romantic relationship, so that was really exciting for me. I ended up applying past the deadline for the art school that I ended up attending later that fall, and I got accepted and I got really good scholarships, and so I was able to go to an art school and not worry much about finances. And I didn't have to work at all my freshman year of college, and I was living in the dorms by that fall and meeting a bunch of new friends and like being social and just loving art school. And it just felt like such a stark difference to how I ended 2017 versus how I ended 2018, just in a totally new environment with new friends and a new like zest for life. Freshman year of art school was so much fun. Like I'm so grateful for that year. And again, I just had no clue it was even coming. I really, art school was kind of a dream for me, but I didn't know if I was gonna swing it. So yeah, that was like super exciting. And that's how I feel again going into this year, is I just don't really know where 2026 is going to end. And I think that's a really exciting way to start a new year. It's just like, again, I could look at it as a scary like thing and like dread it, but I'm choosing to look at it positively. I'm choosing to be excited about the unknown because I've been in this position before. In end of 2017 going into 2018, not knowing where my life was going, and it ended up going in a really beautiful direction. So I feel like as humans we tend to view the unknown as like scary and bad. Like we just like to project negativity onto unknown, like worst case scenario. I think a lot of people train themselves to do that. I'm trying to train myself to be the opposite, to think, oh, this unknown is so exciting. Like there are so many wonderful good things that could happen with this unknown energy. It doesn't have to be scary. Okay, let's read my entry from January 1st, 2018. Wow, 2018, what a time, what a concept. I worked 11 to 6. Hi, I love a fresh start to this new year by working. We weren't very crowded though, so I got to put out Valentine's Day stuff for a while, which I actually enjoyed. That's all for the entry. It was very short. I'm very glad I didn't work on New Year's Day this year. Not that, okay, I will say this as well. What we as humans observe as the new year, like January 1st, is definitely not the real new year. Like, I love to observe a real new year and like freshness, fresh energy, a fresh start, more so in the spring, like spring equinox, like more like zodiac calendar. I think the zodiac calendar, when does it start? I don't remember. But like spring, I feel like spring is much more of the start to the new year as opposed to the dead of winter, January 1st. Like, who decided that? It makes no sense. So I don't think, how you spend your New Year's determines the rest of the year, because it's just a day and you can choose the energy for how you want to feel in each day, in each moment. So I don't think, if you had a shitty New Year's, don't let that scare you into thinking you're going to have a shitty year. I don't think that's necessarily true. But I am very glad I didn't work on New Year's Eve or day this year. So that was a blessing. And I had a really beautiful, nice New Year's Day this year, just like spending time with friends and like having a nice, slow ease into the new year. That was really beautiful and lovely. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful I didn't have to work a 7-hour shift on New Year's, because that sucks, girl. That sucks. Now we're going to time travel to December 31st, 2024, when I bought my new journal after deciding of many years of hiatus from journaling that I wanted to start it back up again for 2025. And I'm so glad I did, because I have a lot of material from 2020. I did so much journaling in 2025. It was probably my heaviest journaling year. I completed several journals this year, or last year at this point. So I'm very proud of myself for getting back into it. Anyways, this is from New Year's Eve 2024 going into 2025. Bro, I always feel like a bad boyfriend when I return to a journal. Like, hey girl, I'm sorry I've been distant. I miss you. It won't happen again. I won't yap about my absence too long, because there really isn't an excuse. I know I feel better when I journal. I know I like to look back on things I write. My screen time suggests I have plenty of time to devote to other things. I'm using the 2025 New Year as my catalyst to write more. I have to be awake for work in like 3 hours. Hopefully I'll feel okay and rested. I think a reason I've avoided journaling is I feel the need for the journal to be perfect, and it never will be. I want each entry to be beautifully written, pretty on the eyes, some cute stickers, doodles, layout, etc. The contents need to be perfectly profound and articulate and lead me to revelations. But it's okay. It's gonna be perfect, regardless. I want to give you a little recap of the events from 2024, in case you read this in 50 years, and the timeline is blurry. I start the year still hung up on my breakup with my ex, part of me still clinging to the idea of him apologizing and begging for me back. Around February, I hang out with friends and find out some info about my ex that seals the breakup as a blessing in disguise. I wanted to reconnect with these friends more, but I'm not sure if the energy was shared. Perhaps this rekindling happened just to help me heal from the breakup, and we aren't meant for friendship right now. For that one meeting, at least, I'm grateful. In March, a lot happened. I went on a solo trip to Nashville, had a lovely time. On my drive home, I'm fired from my job for my internet presence. My world was shattered, and I began receiving anonymous texts harassing me. It strengthened me a lot. I don't wish this invasive, creepy behavior on anyone, but this person is clearly a loser. I almost feel bad for them. That's a whole story for another time, if I ever feel like sharing all of that. Damn, what a time. 2024 was fucking crazy, actually. Now that I'm reading all of this back. Also, in March, I got back on the dating apps, tried to make being in a throuple work, but it just wasn't aligned. And this is when I snapped out of my consistently rebounding post-breakup, and I was like, you know what? We're just gonna actually take a break. after this. I enjoyed unemployment a lot. Oops. I got a seasonal gig, but spent nearly all the summer and fall unemployed. I came to realize after many job interview rejections and ghostings and my lease coming to an end, I was forced to move. I may not understand completely why things have unfolded this way, but it feels intentional. It feels good. I enjoyed the sweat tour in Denver. I'm grateful for getting to explore Colorado and seeing two of my favorite artists. I got employed in October after hundreds of applications and rejections, etc. And all of a sudden, I had two jobs. My last job traumatized me, seriously. So, truly just proud of myself for being out there again. Damn, 2024 was very eventful. There's a lot of that happened, a lot of like traumatic, like not so good things that happened. I feel like 2024 was like burning everything to the ground in my life. 2025 was like, okay, let's rebuild. Let's get back to kind of baseline. And now I feel like 2026 is like, okay, let's go. Let's elevate. Let's get out there. We are like healed. We're recovered from the events of 2023/4, we're recovered from these things. Hi, I'm back again. I ran out of memory on my camera. I'm really good at this. Also, when I was like unloading the footage, I noticed how greasy my hair looks in a lot of the footage, and I'm trying not to have a meltdown about it, because I wanted to film this today, and I don't feel like getting up to put in dry shampoo right now. Okay, sue me. Like, sue me if I'm a little greasy sometimes. Like, fuck. Onto this journal entry from January 1st, 2025. I wrote out a list of manifestations for the year of things that I wanted to come to fruition. I'm not going to read all of them. I'm not going to read the ones that didn't come true, but I'm going to read the ones that did come true, because a lot of them did, and I think that's beautiful. So I just want to focus on those ones. My self-love continues to grow. I am confident in myself, my values, and I act accordingly. I think there's always room to improve on this, but I definitely made such huge strides in 2025 in this area, so I'm very proud of myself. I traveled to many new places, destinations I've always dreamt of, some solo, some with friends. I'm grateful to be able to see the world more than ever and treat myself to the food, culture, etc. I definitely did the most travel I've ever done in 2025. I went to New York City for the first time. That was like a big one for me. I went on 3 solo road trips, and did some other travel throughout there as well. I see many of my favorite artists live in concert. Each show goes better than I could picture. Check. Again, very heavy concert year. I think it was the most concert heavy year of my life. So those two things in combination, like the most travel and the most concerts seen in one year, is such an accomplishment for me. Like, those are two of my favorite things ever. So very lucky. Myself, my cats, my loved ones are happy, healthy, wealthy, thriving. I think for the most part, we are. I have positive friendships that come easily to me. I have a community of women with shared interests and values, women who I travel with, see live music with, create, discuss, laugh, cry with. My friendships feel natural, uplifting, magical. Going into 2025, I didn't feel super close or connected to very many people, and I can definitely say ending 2025, that has improved. I have been more social than ever this year. I've been getting more comfortable inviting people places and getting more comfortable saying yes to new things, new experiences with new people. So that one definitely came true. I grow in self-discipline and it feels natural and good. I work out because I crave it. It feels good. I make art and share it, and it's received well. I write, I journal often. My screen time is lower. I'm enjoying being in the world more. Screen time could always be lower, let's be real, but I definitely feel like I don't really like the word self-discipline. Like, that sounds kind of, I don't know, devotion. I feel like I'm more devoted to the things that really matter. Working out, I don't like work out, but like I definitely go on really long walks and like spend time in nature, so I guess that's my version of working out. And yeah, definitely just being out in the world more. I have done more in 2025. I was definitely consistent in like making and sharing my art. Well, not necessarily every form of art that I wanted to be consistent in, but like video making, I was very consistent in that. And so I'm really grateful for that I was able to, kind of set this goal for myself of consistently making and uploading things. And yeah, I accomplished that. That's going to be all, I guess, for kind of my 2025 recap, as well as recapping some New Year's past. I don't have super like strict resolutions for 2026. Like I said earlier, I do feel like a lot of good positive change is coming this year. It's year of the horse, which is exciting. If you don't, I don't know too much about it, so maybe I shouldn't even bring it up if I don't know what I'm talking about. Basically, 2025 was year of the snake. We're like shedding the past, and 2026 year of the horse. We're moving forward. It's forward motion, forward momentum. I also saw this thing that was ranking like how lucky each of the Chinese zodiac animals are for 2026, like how lucky this year is for them. And rabbit was number 1. I'm year of the rabbit. Thank you. So feels like a good year. I don't know. I'm excited to be able to like watch this episode back at the end of the year and be like, oh my god, she had no idea what was coming in 2026, and I don't know. Maybe should I ask my future self some questions for my future self watching this back? Ooh, my main question is, where are you? Did you move? I really hope we move this year to somewhere that feels really aligned and awesome and magical. So, yeah, like what's your living environment like? Where are we at? Where have we traveled to? I hope we traveled a lot this year. I hope we go out of the country this year. I would really like to use my passport. So yeah, where did we go? How are your friendships looking at the end of this year? Are you friends with the same people? New people? Have you gotten even more social? Do you have a romantic interest perhaps? Maybe that's coming for me in 2026. We'll see, cuz it's been a little stagnant in that department for a little bit. Are we working somewhere new? Are we getting paid to do things that bring us joy? Are we getting paid for our passions yet? That would be cool. Concerts. What concerts did we see this year? I already have a few planned. I'm gonna see Louis from One Direction. I'm so stoked for that show. You have no idea. I better have gotten BTS tickets. Okay, did we get BTS concert tickets? Because I know they're coming and I better go. I also need to see Twice this year. K-pop girl group Twice. I'm planning to do that. I haven't bought the tickets yet, but yeah, I already have a few events lined up, so I'm very excited. I think that's all for this New Year's episode. Thank you for being here with me. I hope 2026 is a beautiful, prosperous year for all of us, and I will see you later. Bye.